Dentists in particular are just local business owners who are like, oh, I want a billboard, I want the mailers out, I want like all this stuff. And I think like 10 years ago, maybe that made more sense. If you're somebody who's driving around and you see something and you're like, I actually do need to make an appointment to the dentist, you're not going to stop your car wherever you are. You're not gonna stop your car on the side of the highway. You're likely going to then start Googling, okay, what's the best dentist for my family? And again, if your business is not showing up in that space, then you're losing the value that you just spent all this money on.
Isn't it crazy to think about how much digital ads has changed even in the past 2, 3, 5 years?
Yes, I think back to like even 5 years ago, pre-COVID, we focused so much on dentistry, obviously, but I think that overall, the price of advertising has gone up because I think so many more people are aware of it.
But I think people are entering the landscape even more. So you're right, it takes more money and more investment to really show up as much as possible and compete with those other people.
And especially in dentistry, I think that it's easy to forget that if you're not showing up in that space, then your competitors are, so you have to be there. I think that a lot of people are so used to what we would call like traditional advertising, very like print focused or even like billboards or just like what we would consider like out of home. That doesn't hit on everybody and it doesn't seem to capture the audience as broadly as you need to in this day to really like reach your full local audience.
I feel like with digital advertising, typically you're meeting people where they're at, where they're searching for a dentist or they're searching for a product or a service, and you're able to show up for them when they are looking. Whereas, you know, with those billboards and mailers and more of that, you know, typical advertising, you're just hitting them when they're driving down the highway.
You could be getting so much more reach for those dollars.
And you can cast, you were saying, a much wider net, but also you can be more targeted as well. You don't have a say in who's seeing your billboard and who's driving past it, but with digital advertising, you can target specific demographics that you really want to target, which makes it a lot more efficient and effective. We were talking kind of about the future of digital advertising and how there is definitely an emphasis on, you know, voice searches and voice recognition. Do you foresee that affecting digital advertising at all?
You know, the way that the voice searches work, you know, you're talking to like an Alexa or your Google Home, and it's just giving you the first result. And I think that this does change the way we think about advertising only in terms of how we are prioritizing that top of page reach. Because we have usually very limited budgets to work with, we are trying to make sure that we are showing up as much as possible, but that also means that we're probably not gonna reach that top page result every single time. We're probably gonna be in the top 3.
Exactly.
And usually, I think for very like traditional searches, that's worked pretty well. Because not everybody's always clicking on the top result. You can still get a lot of reach by being in that second or third tier. That changes though when you talk about voice. Again, it kind of calls back to like competitiveness, like how competitive are you being? Are we able to bid high enough to get to that top of page result on all searches? And I have seen voice searches come through. Like if you look at our search term results, like you can tell like, that's a voice search. That wasn't somebody typing in. So it is happening. And it's, I think it's something that we need to keep in mind when we're thinking about how to be competitive in the long run.
I feel like with digital advertising, SEO and ads are in the same platform. Like as you're searching, you'll see organic rankings as well as, you know, those more sponsored ads, those targeted ads. They do work very well together. Because if you can show up and have as much real estate on the search results as possible, that's just more opportunity that you're going to have engagement and have people click on the ad or on your website to get more information.
They work in tandem really well. And I think that's why we've always really tried to emphasize the fact that you do need both. For that reason, like you're taking up real estate on Google. But the thing is that they do operate so differently behind the scenes. SEO it's just such a longer game in terms of how much time and energy and consistency you need to put into it versus digital ads, you're really paying to play. Right? You're paying to be at the top. And so, there is time involved. Like we've talked about, like you really should give it at least 6 months before you start to judge whether or not it's effective or not. But I also think that there is a way that you can get to the top of Google by paying your way there through digital ads while you're waiting for your SEO efforts to really take hold. So I would love to know, from your perspective, what the difference is working at 88 and really like how we're servicing our clients differently.
It is very different for sure because, you know, we're focusing not only on the marketing side of things, so the advertising, the SEO, but also the creative side as well. Combining all those together is really effective compared to, you know, other places that I've worked where it's all marketing focused.
That's kind of like where we shine, is those two departments, those two teams are working so closely to make sure that from start to finish, from branding, like whether that's like a logo or your website, photo, video, all of it, like we want to take all of those assets and make sure that they are really highlighted. And I think a lot of times when we're able to do that, when we're able to really get all of those elements together, our ads perform usually better than most competitors because you've got an amazing website, you've got amazing photography, all these brand pieces come together, and it's just light years above what I think a lot of people can do.
Well, I appreciate you giving your perspective because I think we do come from different backgrounds and it's nice to see kind of our thoughts and our opinions on things.
Yeah.
Marketing as a whole is a very complex thing, so it's always cool to talk about it a little more in depth.
I think it's really fun too to have you here with this because you are newer to the team. And so I love hearing your perspective on really just like, I would say like the 88 way, like you're coming in with some fresh perspective. So it's really great to hear your perspective on it too. Yeah, this was fun.
This was fun.
Let's do it again.
We should do it again.
We should do it again.
We should do it
yeah,
again.
let's do it.